My name is Jose. I'm one of the trainers here, or a training specialist with Motility Software. And what we're going to be covering in today's session is going to be the text messaging feature that we have integrated with. And then we will also be covering the task manager. Now, again, these are just overviews and features. If you would like a individual session, you can contact training@motilitysoftware.com. You can also strike the F1 key on your keyboard for general questions for our support team. They'd be more than happy to help you out. Anyone that arrives late into the session or would like to hear it again, you can request a copy of the webinar. We are recording this, so it will be available for you to view. It will be on the Motility website. And you would be able to listen to it. It's usually posted a few hours after the webinar itself. If not, you can also email our support team by support@motilitysoftware.com, or you can strike the F1 key on your keyboard, and that will take you directly to our support team, and then you can ask them for a copy of today's webinar if needed, or you can go directly to our website. So we'll go ahead and begin. And the first area we're going to cover is we're going to go ahead and open up the CRM. Users have probably been accustomed to seeing this, but one of the areas you can see within the CRM, when you have a customer's profile pulled up, or actually I apologize, I'm jumping a little bit ahead, is there is a task option here. All right, and once you click on that task option, it's in between the messaging and reporting, it's going to open up the task command center. Now, this is permission-based, so it's not just off the bat. You can go in there and make changes. There's certain permissions. For an example, there's a setup where only you can view your tasks. If you're a department head or a manager or a GM or upper-level management, then we can set the permission on where you can view all tasks. And the purpose of this is, depending on the type of tasks that are set up, the system offers manual tasks, and it also offers auto tasks that can be generated depending on certain criteria or certain events that you would like the task to be generated from. For an example, deal desking. You sell a unit, and 48 hours after the sale, you want the salesperson to give the customer a follow-up courtesy call to see how they're doing. Well, we have that capability with the automated tasks. But again, you can also create manual tasks in certain areas of the system. So when you log into the task center, depending on your permissions, you may only be defaulted to seeing your task. So as a salesperson, I want to log in the morning and see what task I have to handle. And you can see, for example, here it's assigned to myself. And the subject is called AJ Montero here. It gives me the entity, which I can actually view the entity directly from here. It gives me the phone number, the status of that, which I can change, and the due date, and the times, so on and so forth. It's pretty self-explanatory as far as the areas that need to be filled in. But it's extremely simple. Once you've worked with the task, you can simply just check it off by completed, and then a manager can come in, and you can see here it's currently showing me active tasks, all tasks, due within the next 7 days, overdue task, completed task, and deleted tasks. And also you have a date range filter, so you can set your dates up, and then based on which one you have selected, those are the tasks that are going to show up on here for you. So again, typically you'll want to set the task up for the date that you have open, which is, for an example, today. But let's say you want to verify and make sure you didn't forget anything for tomorrow or yesterday. I apologize. You can go ahead and change it to beginning date 2/4. Hit refresh. I can see here that I don't have any active tasks, but I can then select all tasks. I don't have anything there, or completed tasks, for an example, which I currently don't have anything. I just have this one set up as an example. But the purpose of the task system is, again, is a friendly reminder or reminders to the corresponding associate. For an example, you want a 24-hour phone up when a service ticket is cashed out, and you want them to follow up with the customer, see how the vehicle's working for them after the repairs are done. You can set up an automated batch that, based on cashed out date, where it would look at the service advisor, and then the service advisor would be logging in just like I'd done myself here, and they would see all the tasks that were generated under their name. Okay. So again, the top portion is the tasks that you have filtered for. And again, based on the permission, you may be able to view all tasks, not the ones that are assigned to you. Now, the yellow bar is a filter. So for example, if I just select Jose Montero here, it would filter for me automatically. So that's another option. If you have view all, you can do it by department, by entity, by subject. Again, it's the yellow bar is just a filter to help you clean up those tasks and find one specifically if you needed to. Okay. Now, the most common question is, okay, the system will automatically do it for me. How do I set those up? If you click on the batch setup here, it will take you into the area where you can actually set this up. Now, this is a little more advanced as far as getting them set up. We usually have support. If you just want one or two set up, we have support help you guys out with them, set them up. If it's something that you want, you know, periodically or on a variety of different batches, then you would set up a training session with a trainer. We'd walk you through it and get some done. But this is just so you have an idea of what's causing these or triggering these. And if you feel comfortable doing them, you have the permission to do that in the system by default. You can go into the batch task here and start creating them. But you can see here we have a variety of ones set up already. Another thing I'd like to note, that with our batches, we do have what we call a pipeline that we offer that you can purchase additionally. And it includes, for an example, 20 tasks and 20 email letters that you can email out. And it's kind of a combination of two. You can create internal tasks for employees, but you can also send generated letters that you would like to go out to customers. For an example, when they purchase a unit, you want a thank you letter to go out 24 hours after they bought it. We can set up letter automation for those letters to go out, and the thank you with personalized and changed. So again, in the batch setup, I'm not going to go super in detail, but I want to kind of give you guys an idea of what's triggering this, because that's the most common question. But you see here, I can select the type. So from deal desking, for parts, for service, for POs, receivers, rental, CRM, unit inventory, so on and so forth. So that's what module we're pulling from. And then, for an example, I have service here. I wanted to auto pull the advisor, mechanic, cashier. If I was to use deal desking, it would show me finance manager, salesperson, because that's who I wanted to be generated. All right. And then, here I can say date time in, 1 day before. So this is just a 1 day prior task that I want to verify that the customer is still coming in. So, again, I'm setting up my criteria here on what I want the task to generate based off of. And then down here, we also have, this is actually an added feature where it auto completes. So there's some, like, let's say you sign up with the pipeline, there's a 24-hour callback, a 48-hour, a 72-hour callback. So if the salesperson forgets to do the 24-hour one, it's going to auto-assign that one or auto-complete it once the 48-hour one begins, because you don't want both tasks there. If it's been passed already to 24 hours and it's generating the 48-hour one, there's no reason to have that 24-hour one sitting there. So that's what the auto-complete conditions come into play. It helps you clean up those tasks automatically, because obviously, if I generated a 48-hour one, I don't need that 24-hour one there anymore, because it surpassed that time already. Okay. And then down here, you can put in the criteria. One day prior task. You can manually fill in the subject. And every time you hit new batch, it's going to open up a completely blank screen. So I'm going to do that here so you can see. And once I select auto, it's going to give me my options here. So, for example, I'm going to select deal desking, and then I'm going to put, approve for finance. You can see here I want it to auto generate for the salesperson and auto notify the salesperson. All right, and then I can put my criteria of what's going to trigger this task to be generated, and then I can put in here, for an example, approval follow-up. And that's what I would label my description of that task as well. And what's going to happen is every time, based on the criteria I set that deal up with, and here in the middle, the criteria conditions, it's going to auto-generate for the salesperson on the deal that task that they can check in on there. All right. So again, something we can walk you through the first couple times and give you a hand kind of setting these up. Once you've set up a few, you'll be much more familiar as far as setting these up. All right. Now, that's our automated tasks. We also offer within certain modules where you can generate manual tasks for that. And for an example here, I'm going to open up deal desking, right? And there's a task tab. And in here, what can happen is you can manually type in. So I'm going to put in the department, sales department. It gives me automatically the entity, the system, and the document number and the information, but follow-up call, and then assign to, and then I can select the salesperson manually here. So I'll select Jose Montero, okay? And then this is how I've manually created a task in order to contact the customer, remind the salesperson to contact that customer. So again, in deal desking, there's a tasks tab where you can manually create the task to assign it to that salesperson or finance manager, so on and so forth, okay? Unit inventory, same similar option you see here that it has. I'll select myself again here. PDI follow-up. I want to make sure the PDI was done when this unit was brought in from factory. So it gives me the stock number, the status. So again, I can then, once I hit save on this, it will automatically assign this task that I manually created from the unit to Jose Montero, all right? And this is just giving me an employee list here for me to select from, okay? So again, we can create manual tasks from deal desking, from unit inventory, and we can also do it directly on an entity, all right? So we're gonna go to the tasks here, and you can see this entity has a lot of tasks generated under his name, but you can see here a majority of them are completed because you'll be able to see active and not completed tasks for this customer, okay? And again, that is under the task tab, and I can simply add one as I needed to as well, all right? All righty. Again, there is a Q&A tab in the meeting where if you'd like to type in a question, please feel free. You can also type into the chat for your questions and be more than happy to answer them. As far as the tasks go, the next area we're going to be covering is going to be the new text messaging feature that the system offers. Right. Let me clean up my screens here a little bit. Okay, now, one of the new tabs you may have seen in the CRM is the SMS texting. Our system does offer direct texting now, where you can sign up for it. You would contact your sales manager or your sales rep for Motility software, and they're the ones that will sign you up for it. They'll provide the numbers. A brief explanation of how it works. Right now you see on the screen here, I have two different tabs, sales and service. And based on permissions, which ones you'd see would pop up. I have both of them pulled up. There's various options as far as setting up this integration for direct texting. Usually they create a phone number per department at least, so they'll have one for service, they'll have one for sales. You can go as far as having individual numbers for each salesperson as well. You would be able to track them. There is kind of a text messaging dashboard, if you will, that lets you see and preview all the conversations that are going on. Now, just like our task that we covered earlier, this is permission-based. So you may be only able to read it, but you may not be able to send messages depending on the permissions. You may be able to send it out and also launch the dashboard itself to view it. So on my screen here, you can see that I have my demo system set up in order to send the text message out. Now on the customer itself, it is very important to obviously have their cell phone number created with their profile, okay? So they need their cell phone number, and they also need their cell phone provider, okay? That way we know which number to send it out to. So if I go to the SMS texting tab, all right, I'm gonna act like if I'm a service advisor, for an example. So I would say, Mr. Oops, my typing is not the best today. Picked up, all right? And when I hit send here, I am actually gonna get a text message directly to the cell phone for that, and they can reply back and say, right? And when they reply back, you will see here that it's a thread. It's just like a normal SMS texting thread or instant messenger thread that you would normally get. And what is my balance? You see there, and then if I reply back, all right, I will send there, and you can see that it attaches that via text message, all right? So it's just like a normal thread going back and forth on a conversation. Again, how many phone numbers? I just had a question pop up from Tiffany. If you're out of the entity, is there some sort of indication that tells us the reply back? There is a little pop-up box that comes out of the bottom corner here. If you're out of the SMS texting, that just lets you know a new notification came in. There is also a dashboard I'm going to show you that you can have open in the background to see the conversations as well, okay, on there. But yes, there is a little pop-up box, kind of like an instant messaging, if you've seen it, that just lets you know a new message came in. It doesn't say, you know, all the detail, obviously, but once you open up the notification, it will, okay. Now, one of the things you can also do here, so you can attach images, and it would be just like attaching a thumbnail from your phone. Same concept. You can grab the picture, and you can see here on previous threads, we've already attached a couple going back and forth here. So images can be attached, and if the customer sends you a picture from their phone, they would also be able to see it. So like if you need a copy of their insurance or something like that, with this, they would be able to send it to you through a text message, and you can grab that image from the thread, okay? Now, going back to what I was covering earlier, you can see I have a service and a sales number, and you can go as basic as that. You can have one number per department, and it's a shared number for that department, or you can go as far as having, you know, 2 numbers for service and 2 for sales, or you can have each service advisor can have their number, and same thing with the sales team, they can have their own individual number. The costing of that and the breakdown of costing, your sales rep would be able to provide that information. You can also email sales@motility.software.com for a breakdown of that pricing for the SMS texting feature in the software. Okay. Now, there is here, like I said, it is basically what you would look at as a dashboard of your phone numbers conversations. So here, the first thing I want to do is select the service. I only have 2 numbers. The service would be the cell phone number or the number that is assigned to that account. So for an example, I'm going to select sales here. So what this gives it the ability is to kind of track what conversations are going on, refer back to them if you needed to. So if I go back to the service, I'm going to click on the conversation I was just having, and you would be able to view it. You can also add a customer directly from here as well. So you don't have to go to that specific entity in the CRM. I'm going to type in a last name here. So we'll select Jose, all right? And then obviously it lets you now begin texting. Right now it's stopping me because that entity does not have a 10-digit phone number. So when I select OK here, what I want to do is select that entity again or add them. And the good thing is you can pull them up directly from here. So find Jose, okay. And then I want to hit edit entity. And then I want to go ahead and type in that phone number. So once they've provided me with their cell phone number, I could go ahead and type that in, type in their cell phone provider, and I'll be good to go ahead and send text messaging. All right, so I can hit the edit entity here. Again, but the concept of this screen or this dashboard, if you will, is so you can kind of see en masse instead of the individualized text messaging from our previous screen, like this one here, for that individual customer. This one gives you the capability to see it across the board for every conversation that's been going on. Okay, so as a sales manager, you would want to go ahead and select the sales texting, and then from here you can text the customer just like you did directly from their profile, but you can also monitor what conversations are going out as well. All right, and it gives you all the same capabilities as doing it directly from that entity. All right. Want to pause here and then give an opportunity for any additional questions that you'd like to ask as far as the features that we covered in today's session. If you don't have a question, thank you for joining us today during the webinar. That isn't a file we add. It's actually a separate file that runs that we add to your desktop once we set it up and the dealership provides who needs access to that dashboard. It's not directly linked within the software. It's an actually separate file that you would run to open. You can see down here, you just would leave it open, but it would be an icon on your desktop. So I would be able to click on it and open up that dashboard at any time. It's completely separate. And again, we don't give that to everyone. We determine that with the dealership of who needs access to that dashboard. It's kind of why we keep it separate to begin with. I will leave this session open for a couple extra minutes in case there's any additional questions you'd like to ask. But again, thank you for joining us today, and we will have another session next Tuesday. So look forward to having everyone join us on those as well.